Hi you guys, my name is Cyan and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we have a very exciting video because we have some special guests involved. If you don't know, which I feel like most of you probably do because they are in the background of my videos a lot, I have two dogs. They are both Boston Terriers and they are my best friends, if we're being honest. We have one with us right now, Dash. I don't know where my other dog, Blue, is at, but this is Dash. Say hello. Got something on your face, bud. Dash is the younger one. He just turned 1 on July 3rd. And then Blue will be 2 in November on the 23rd. So I decided that we're gonna let them pick what books I read for this week. I have seen this video done by other people before and it just seems fun, you know? Maybe they should have a say every once in a while. So that's what we're doing. Dash, you are just being too cute. Hopefully we can get Blue up here. I feel like he's probably downstairs with his dad right now. But I'm going to have them pick 4 books for this week. And I'm not going to show you guys until we get to that book because I want it to kind of be a surprise. But yeah, that's what we're doing. And first off, we have 2 choices. I definitely want to get to a romance this week. So I'm choosing between Off to the Races by Elsie Silver. This is technically a new release, but it's not. They are just getting traditionally published with new covers. It is actually the first series that she ever wrote. Small town romances, cowboy vibes, and I think they take place in Canada. And I know for a fact that one of these books is going to be about the Eaton sister that we saw in the Chestnut Springs series. So I am excited to get to it because, as we all know, if you've seen any of my other videos, I love Elsie Silver. So that is our first option. And then our second option is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I read just for the summer and I love that. And I am so excited to read some more of Abby Jimenez books because her writing was just so good. And this is technically the first in that little series because I think they are all connected in some way. It's this, Yours Truly, and then Just for the Summer. So, you know, we're backtracking, but still want to read it for sure. And those are going to be the first 2 choices and we're going to let Dash pick. So my plan is I have some of his treats. Of course, I didn't bring him over here, but I have some treats. I'm going to stick him on top of the books and whichever one he goes to, that will be our first read. Now we wait for him to pick it. Come on, pick a book. Look, Dash, get a treat. Huh. I never said they were the smartest dogs. We have movement. Here comes Blue. Maybe Blue will pick one? Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? There was a surprise twist. Blue came in and he got one. Blue picked Off to the Races by Elsie Silver. So this is going to be the first book that we start with. I am on chapter 24, page 225, which is about halfway through the book, and in this one we are following Billy and Vaughn. Billy is a professional horse trainer, and she gets a new job at this ranch, which basically Vaughn owns. His grandfather passed it down to him when he passed away, so he is the new owner, and he is also dealing with trying to get this ranch out of a scandal that happened when his grandfather passed away. So Billy starts working there, and she takes on the responsibility of training this troubled horse in order to get it ready for races. So that is how they know each other. When they first meet, they don't really like each other. He is her boss, she is his employee, obviously. So there's also that dynamic going on. I will say from the very beginning, the two of them kind of have this attraction towards one another, even though their first impressions weren't good and they didn't start off liking each other. It feels insta-lovey in a sense because their internal monologue talks about how attracted they are to each other very quickly, but they don't actually get together quickly. That is what is happening in this one. I will say I'm not obsessed with it like I was with the Chestnut Springs series or even with Wild Love. Vaughn is one of those characters that are kind of giving me nothing. I will say that I really do love Billy as a character. She reminds me a lot of Willa from the Chestnut Springs series. She doesn't take anything from anyone. She stands up for herself. She's very loud and opinionated, and I like her character. Vaughn, on the other hand, is a little bit bland, but it's not ruining the book for me or anything like that. I'm still enjoying it, so I am going to continue. Okay, so I did just finish up reading Off to the Races this morning, and honestly, it was good. It wasn't anything mind-blowing. It's not characters that I'll remember for the rest of my life, or a book that I feel like everyone just needs to read, or anything like that. Keep in mind though, it is her first book, so I can definitely tell that there's a difference between her writing now and then, but still, I feel like it's hard when you talk about romances because no romance that I read really is going to be out of this world. Like, they're all just meant to be fun for me, unless it is an emotional romance like Still Beating or the Boys of Tommen series. Those ones I definitely would say are like, you know, it's really hard to describe, but most romances that I read that have like the fun vibes or whatever, they're never like out of this world. The writing's not great, the romance isn't great, you can see what's coming from a mile away, but I still love them so much and enjoy them. And then there are like the emotional ones that I love for a completely different reason. So like this falls in the fun category, and it wasn't bad or anything like that, but it isn't going to be one of my top tier fun romances, but I still enjoyed it, and I do think I'm going to continue the series. I just think that Vaughn was a little bit too bland. I don't really understand horses. There was a little bit of horse talk, but not like a lot, you know? So that's not really a big issue with it either. It just... I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I'm going to leave you off with it's a 3-star. Because I liked it, but I didn't love it. So... there you have it. Now that they know I have treats, they are being menaces, but we are going to pick our second book, and I think I'm going to do a fantasy. This time, I'm going to choose between When the Moon Hatched. I have heard mixed things about this. I've heard that it's really confusing and just really hard to get into, and that's really it. I haven't heard anything else about it. I also know that some people, though, absolutely love this book. It's just, I'm a little nervous that my brain won't be able to handle it because I do get confused quite a lot. So that's that one, and it's very big. And then we have a book that I should have read forever ago, and I am actually really excited now that I have read some of this author's other books. I really want to get into this, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Literally, the writing is just out of this world, so I do definitely want to read this, but we have to let the dogs pick. So once again, I'm going to do the same thing. Hopefully Dash will actually pick this time. Wait a second. Take it. Blue's choosing again. Okay, so there we have it. Nope, that's for your brother. Blue chose The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which I am super excited for, and I'm glad. So that was a good pick, Blue. Blue only cares about food, so there we go. This will be our next read. Made it to part, is that 4? Is that a 4? I don't know. But I've made it to that part in the book, so I am over halfway through. The way that V.E. Schwab writes is literally so whimsical, and the writing just drags you into this world feet first. And it is amazing. I love this author's writing so freaking much, but let me tell you what this is about. First of all, I'm just getting a little overexcited over here. This is about Addie LaRue, obviously. She is invisible in the sense that whenever someone meets her, if they walk out of the room and then walk back in, they forget her. Everything about her, the memory that they shared together, forgotten, poof, gone, whatever. And she becomes this way because, well, I actually don't want to say how that came to be, but basically it's like a curse that she has. And so we are seeing her past, like from long, long ago, of how she got this curse, as well as throughout the years, the different people that she's met, because another thing is she lives forever and like doesn't age or anything. So we are getting the different people that she has met throughout throughout the years and re-met too, because some of them she really liked them, so she had to start all over with them. It's just heartbreaking in a sense because of the fact that these people, she is like falling for them and really cares about them, and then they don't remember her, and just crazy is what it is. It's got a little bit of like magic in it, I guess, but it's not really a big theme. It's very much a character driven book. We have also met some other characters that I feel like are going to be a big part of the story. I can already kind of guess what's going to happen with that so far. It is great. Highly recommend. Can't believe it has taken me so long to finally pick up this book, but I'm loving it. Hello, you guys. So first off, I pretty much binge read this book yesterday. I stayed up all night reading it until I was done because I could not put it down, which first off is a very, very good sign. This book was amazing to me. It was mind-blowing the way that you just feel for these characters and you want nothing for the best. Like, I truly hope these two, if they were real, I would want them to find nothing but absolute happiness. They aren't perfect characters by any means, but I still love them so much. Their love was pure and wholesome. The way she writes love and describes it is just so, yeah, it literally left me speechless. And V.E. Schwab is the type of writer where, like, I don't particularly want to write books ever in the future, but if I did, I would want to be this author because her writing, every single time, it just gets me. There are amazing quotes throughout this book. I have a special edition of it, so like there's beautiful artwork as well, and this is one of those books that I'm going to be thinking about for the rest of my life. Like, this is one of those books where genuinely bury it with me because I don't even want to be in the afterlife without this, you know? So those are my thoughts on this one. If you are late to the game like I was and you haven't read it yet, please give it a shot because, as we know, I am very picky when it comes to people-driven type of books. I don't love people-driven books unless they can really somehow hook me, being that not much is happening, and that is what this book did 100%. So give it a shot if you haven't already. I also would say that oh dang, I was gonna say something and then I literally just forgot. What was I gonna say? That's gonna drive me crazy. I know exactly what I was gonna say. What I was gonna say is that V.E. Schwab, one thing I have noticed from Vicious and Vengeful, at the end of that duet, it ended where everything was resolved, but I still had questions, so it left me wanting more. And in this one, it kind of ends in a way where it feels like there is a resolution, but at the same time there definitely could be another book added. There could be so much more to this story, so that is something to keep in mind because I don't believe that the author is creating more within this world, but who knows, maybe in the future we will. I wouldn't be mad about that. But those are my thoughts on this one, and if you couldn't tell, I am giving it 5 stars. Absolutely amazing. We have So Not Meant to Be by Megan Quinn. This is another billionaire romance. They're all brothers, and I read the first one in the series. I liked it. It was okay. So I do want to finish the series, and it's just like a fun summary book in a way. And then we also have On the Line by Naomi Loud. I actually saw someone on TikTok about this. I think it was Heather, and she said that she was eating this up, and I honestly really want to try it out because I heard that it is a line cook romance, and literally that is how my husband and I first met each other. I was a server, he was a cook. Many years ago, it feels like. So I just feel like it will be nostalgic in a way to read a romance like that, so I do want to get to this one eventually. So these are the two options. They're not very similar. The only similarity they have is that they're romances, but still, should be a good time either way. Once again, we're gonna lay them out and let the boys pick. Whoever picks first, which I have a sneaky suspicion we know who it will be. Okay, Blue, your time to shine. Take it. Dash actually picked one. Okay. Wow. Okay, and then he immediately drops it and doesn't even eat it. Maybe that was the error. Maybe he doesn't like these treats. I don't know what's going on with my dogs. I guess they're broken. Okay, so it's literally only been a couple of hours, but I'm already 50% of the way through this book, and it is so good. It is a line cook romance. So we're following James and Ozzy. James comes from a very rich, influential family, and she wants to change her major to art in college because that's what she's passionate about. And her father is like, I'm not supporting that. So he cuts her off, and she has no choice but to move out and get a job. And she gets a job at this restaurant, and that is where she meets Ozzy. Ozzy also has some personal issues going on in his life that we're seeing with his family. He kind of reminds me of a character that would be in the show Shameless, if you have seen that. I am eating it up. It is ridiculous. There is a good chunk of smut in here too, so if that's not your thing, you're not gonna like it. I love like the behind the scenes of her actually waitressing and everything that's going on in there, because I was a waitress for the longest time, so like it's so relatable. Also, the line cooks, if you have worked in the restaurant industry, literally they give zero care in the world if you have a boyfriend. They don't care. It literally says on the book, treat your girl right or a line cook will, and that could not be more truthful when it comes to the restaurant industry. They will try and try and try, because you're working there like 6 days a week for long hours without any breaks. You become friends with all the other waitresses. You're talking about all your drama. If you and your significant other get in a fight, all the other waitresses are gonna know, and the line cooks are gonna be back there like, you deserve better, I'll treat you good. You know, like, it's just funny and relatable, and I really feel like this author has been a waitress in her life, because I have lived through some of the things that is going on in this book. Not the ridiculous things though, I will say that, because I was reading through some reviews, and in this book they do some drugs, and also, if you know, you know, the candy bar scene, yeah, that doesn't happen. But crying in the walk-in cooler, yes, 100%. I've had my fair share of those days. Anyways, I'm not here to lecture you about waitressing. This book is just fun. I'm having a good time. I really, really like it. So I'm gonna sit down and probably binge the rest, if we're being honest. Last night I did finish up reading On the Line by Naomi Loud, and this was too good, you guys. This book has everything that I needed and more. It was just a good time of a smutty little book. I will say, I think maybe part of the reason why I liked it so much is the whole restaurant experience, and because I can relate to that, but that's literally the only thing I can relate to, okay? If you've read this book, nothing else is relatable for me. I like that he comes from a poor family, she comes from a rich family. I love that dynamic in a book. Like I said, his character reminds me of someone who would be on Shameless. I would say like he's almost the Fiona of his family, if you've seen that show. Like, he is the oldest brother, so he is responsible for taking care of his younger siblings, and his dad's a piece of crap. Her family kind of sucks too, and also she's dealing with a very abusive ex-boyfriend, so there's that too. And what Ozzy does to him, well deserved. That man is literally worth less than the piece of gum stuck to the bottom of a shoe. So that's all I have to say about that, but it was good. So good, in fact, that I was on the edge of like, am I gonna give this ridiculous book a 5-star? And I'm not. I'm gonna give it a 4.5 because it was really good to me at this moment. Keep in mind though, it is one of those fun books, so the writing's not amazing. It is ridiculous. Like, some of these things I don't find super realistic that happens in here. I will say check your trigger warnings, because there's some things that could be triggering, but it was still good. 4.5. Highly recommend if you think that this is something you're in the mood for. Okay, so again, we have 2 more options, and this time I chose 2 books where I have read the first in these series and they just weren't my cup of tea. Everyone loves these books, so I'm sorry to offend you, but for me, they weren't that interesting, so I haven't really had the desire to go in and start reading the second books, but I feel like I just need to get it over with, because I do have all of the books for both of these series, and the first one is the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. This is the second book, Good Girl Bad Blood, and then the Hawthorne Legacy, which is the second book in the Inheritance Games trilogy. So both of these are YA. They are both mysteries in different ways. This one's like a murder mystery, and this one is just all over the place. Like, I don't really know what you would consider the mystery in this one to be, but anyways, we'll talk about it once I read one of them. So these are our 2 options. Once again, let's see if one of them will pick a book. Yes, pick a book. Look. You know what? Dash didn't pick, but he was staring at Hawthorne Legacy and he laid down right beside that one. So I'm going to take that as his pick. You did good, buddy. Here, now you want the treat. At least I know my food is safe around him, you know? So that's our next pick. Next day, and yesterday I made it honestly not even 50% of the way through this book. I am on chapter 33, page 132, and I am reading this so slowly. I find myself getting bored at times, and if you didn't know, this book is about Avery. Avery is a teenage girl. I think it's her senior year of high school, but she grew up in a struggling home. So when she finds out that a very rich man in Texas left her everything in his will, basically, she now has to go there and live there for a year in order to get that money, and she is dealing with backlash from his family, who honestly, rightfully so, are kind of upset that this random girl that didn't even know Mr. Hawthorne was given everything and they were left with not much. And while she's there, she's found herself in a love triangle with two of the brothers. She is unraveling all of this family history and trying to figure out why he left her all this money. She's figuring out stuff from her own family, his family, and there are like a bunch of little clues. Like, he left her clues because he wants her to figure out why she is the one getting all the money. So that is what we're following along with in this book. I didn't remember much from the first book, so I do like that in the very first chapter of this book it kind of sums up everything so that it refreshed my memory a little bit. But I'm bored. I don't really know what's contributing to my boredom, but I'm just not really having that fun of a time. I find myself putting it down, picking it back up, putting it down, picking it back up. And like a little piece of me wants to figure out this mystery as well. I'm just gonna continue reading today and see how I feel. If it doesn't speed up and I don't feel interested, I'm probably going to DNF it. But everyone loves the series, so I really want to see why. So I did finally finish the Hawthorne Legacy, and if I'm being so honest, halfway through this book I was like, I really want to just Google what's gonna happen in this, but I'm glad I stuck it through. A little bit more did start happening. It did start getting a little bit interesting, but it just felt like there was too much going on. Like, it's weird because in the beginning it felt like a slow start, but then it was reveal after reveal after reveal, and it's just not my cup of tea. I don't love this series. I really think I'm going to probably Google what happens in the third one because there is a third book, but I'm going to tell you my reasonings for why I didn't necessarily love this. I think that it's a little too YA for me. I don't like the characters. The boys, like, I don't know, just the way they speak, and like, I get it, it's mostly riddles, so they kind of speak that way too, but I don't like it. I don't like her friend, who I honestly don't even know her name, but instead of using curse words, she uses like duck instead of the F word, you know what I mean? And that just felt so young, in my opinion. I didn't care for the love triangle. I don't like when there's a love triangle, specifically if it's between brothers. It feels gross to me. Like, why are you doing that to siblings? And also because it felt like it wasn't high stakes. I've read YA mystery slash thrillers where there was murder involved, and there is a few in these books, but it's mostly just riddles and them trying to figure out how everything is related to her getting this estate and everything. So yeah, I don't know. It's a 3-star because it wasn't bad. It did start picking up, but again, not my cup of tea. So that is that one. Actually, I think I'm gonna give this one like a 2.5 because I really don't care for this series and I don't think I'm gonna finish it. I'm just probably gonna Google what happens in the third book. I'm sorry if you love this series. I love The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, but this series is just not it for me. So that is that. But I thought we would do a quick wrap up, and the dogs are here so they can see what I rated these books because they're the ones that picked them out for me, you know? So first off, Blue picked Off to the Races. I gave it 3 stars. It was good. I liked it. It was a cute, fun little romance. Yeah, it was good. Then I read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This dash, okay, this was so good. Gave this 5 stars. It's definitely gonna be one of my top books of the year. I can already tell. On the Line, this is just one of those ridiculous little romances, but I still enjoyed every single second of it. It did have me questioning my morals, but it's okay. And this one was like purely based on 2 people that worked in a restaurant. Maybe sometimes we see one person that is a baker or a chef or something, but it's never both of them. Workplace romances are usually offices or something like that. So I enjoyed this one. What did I give this one? I'd say like 4.5. And then I just talked about this one and it's a 2.5 for me. But those are all the books that we read this week. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions if you read any of these. What did you think? But that is it. I'll see you guys in my next video and I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Bye! Come say bye! Say bye! Thanks for watching! Just the cutest of bye! Blue, your turn. Come say bye, everyone! You love it here.